As long as I live, I can't put into words enough how the term issue analysis is so critical. Issue analysis from law school, torts. Mickey Smiley, the greatest torts professor ever. What's the issue? Issue analysis. What's the issue? What are we looking at? What's the story here? What's the issue? Refine it. That's not it. What's the issue? Okay, keep going on. What's the issue? What's the issue? What's your issue? The issue is, how do I lose weight? No, that's not the issue. The issue is, what can I do that would allow me to lose weight? What is the issue how will I abide by a diet or something that I will work with? That's the issue, not how do you lose weight. Issue is lose weight is consume less calories. You don't need Ozempic, you don't need Wegovy, you just eat less. But that's not. So the issue is not how do I lose weight. The issue is how do I lose weight, as simple as this. It's the issue. What's the issue? When I've talked about Candace Owens, I cannot get people past the idea of whether you like her or not. I like Helen. I'm not talking about whether you like her. That's not the issue. What's the issue? The issue is whether she's going to be destroyed, and she will, by virtue of this stupid obstinacy that she fell into this trap. Not whether you like her, not whether you think Brigitte Macron is a man. And if you honestly say that, the issue is, why do you say that? You don't know. You would like to believe that because there's a part of you that enjoys this kind of, it's like the Big Mike and Michelle Obama type of thing. It's that you like that. You like okay. Howard Stern. What everybody is missing right now is that this is not about whether you like Stern, whether his time has come, whether he's a nice guy. This is pure 100% cold, brutal capitalism. He may not be fired. This may be his usual attempt to garner the airwaves, though I don't know if this is the type of leak that he put out deliberately, because this kind of makes him look bad, like he's not wanted. And he has an ego, of course, which is a very good thing. Ego, by the way, is another way of saying confidence. Most people in the business have an ego, or as it's called, an ego, because it's a way of saying I have a lot of faith in what I do. I believe in what I'm saying, and I believe in my talent, and I know what I'm doing, and there's really nothing to this at all. This is about capitalism. If the market existed today that still had the monies available to pay Howard Stern $200 million a year, and if everybody was making enough money to warrant it, believe me, he would command $200 million a year. It doesn't matter. Capitalism, economics, business is brutal. When it's affected by government, sometimes that's a problem. When popular shows are killed because, let's say, for lack of a better word, politics and, censorship, are forcing you to cancel me, that would be a different story. But that's not really the case here. People are saying the reason why is because he became woke, and he became this, and he became not entertaining, and no, it's whatever the market determines. This is cold-blooded Milton Friedman capitalism, Mont Pelerin society, Adam Smith, invisible hand, whatever you want to call it. It has nothing to do with anything people are talking about. Well, he's this, he got too big for his britches. No, that's not it. I cannot explain certain things to you. I do not understand why McDonald's is popular, but it is. That's all I care. your independent analysis of whether you like McDonald's, whether you go to McDonald's, whether you like McDonald's, it means nothing. It means nothing to any of us. There's something, though, that is happening to a bigger issue: satellite radio. When you had somebody that made all this money, you are not going to see markets the way the Robert Downey Jr.'s. At one point, he was the biggest, most, I guess, the biggest paid Hollywood star there was. Not anymore. Why? The market has changed. They're going to be going for more CGI. AI is going to destroy everything. It's a different story. It has nothing to do with his talent, his worth, whether you liked him in Tropic Thunder more than this. Doesn't matter. People will listen to this and they will impart their own particular ideas. Well, I like him better, and I think maybe no. It's the market. Believe me. These are business people. If it made sense, they pay them. Why do you think the only thing that keeps going up are salaries in sports? You can look at an NBA team and you can look at the guy from some really lousy team and guy's making $5 million a year. Just you don't even know who he is. But it makes sense. It makes sense. The market, the system will bear it out. And the moment it doesn't, that's it. Now, people can ask, well, where do you think we're going with entertainment? Now, I don't know. We can talk about it from a programming point of view. But from a business point of view, from an economics point of view, Howard Stern there's no ratings. Nobody's listening to this. And that's the only thing that made it worthwhile. This system, at one point, it made sense. It made sense. Remember when MySpace was, that was okay. And then there was Napster. When Napster came too early, I was a part of a show something called eYada.com. And eYada was the first internet radio. It was brilliant. What was the problem? Bandwidth. It wasn't it was so ahead of its time. A fellow named Bob Meyerowitz, who brought you the King Biscuit Flour Hour, and he was the first Ultimate Fighting before Dana White. I mean, he really was something. He really was something. But it had nothing to do with the worth, his wisdom, his genius. No, it had nothing to do with that. It had to do with other factors. But because people don't want to get into that, they'll say, well, and they'll go into other things. I was supposed to be, you're going to love this one. I got a call yesterday to go on the Piers Morgan show. Okay, I'm thinking Piers Morgan to talk about Candace Owens. And I thought, all right, let's see if Piers Morgan can handle this. I thought, I don't know. I said, I don't feel good. Sure enough, they said, well, we've gone a different direction. I don't know if they probably don't like me. I don't like what I say about him. I'm the best guest anybody could have because I know what I'm doing. By the way, from a point of view, if you ever have me on a show, not you, but I'm saying I know what I'm doing because I've been doing this for so long that believe me, I'll get you. You'll get your hit. You're not gonna. I don't waste any time. I get right down the breast. Anyway, I thought to myself, I don't think this is gonna. I don't feel good about this. And sure enough, it I don't know. Who knows? Most of the time, I think it's because I don't like people and I say things, and I think most people are idiots because they don't understand the issues. They don't understand the issues. They don't get the issues. People really. I'm serious. I don't really want to talk about now. If you want to talk about why is Howard Stern a dick. That's a great show. why you don't like him or why you do like him. That's a great story. Or when you were growing up, what was your favorite moment? That's a different issue. But the issue of why his demise, whether it's true or not, he's probably going to come back and work for less or whatever. But the issue is, why were they canceling it? Not what do you like? Did you like him in the prior to private parts or whatever it was? Do you know all that stuff? Whether he you know, how do I say this? Whether he made it or whether you liked him, whether he lost his edge, whether he's too old. That's a different issue. That's a different issue. The reason why they're not saying, well, he's too old. No. If you're, put it this way, the bottom line is how much do you weigh, not why do you weigh that. That's the most important thing in the world. Not how much you weigh, but why do you weigh that? Two different issues. Two different. And I look at the issue. What is the issue? What are we talking about? What are we really talking about? Invariably, most of the time, I find one of the reasons why I don't like media for the most part is people don't understand the issue. They really don't understand it. They really don't grasp it. And people who do understand the issue, I think, are more my cup of tea. One of the reasons why I've always been such an ardent fan of Alex Jones, frankly, has been he gets the issue, especially when the issue does not comply or comport with what people really think. People, for example, never want to discuss the fact that one of the issues regarding, let's say, World Trade Center or 9/11 is that Building 7 looks identical to a controlled demolition. It's the only way they can explain it. It's the only concomitant thing. Not that I'm a conspiracist, but that's the issue. The issue is what theory, what hypothesis, what means of demolition or destruction best comport with the reality of what you're seeing? And the answer is controlled demolition. There's no way around it. Now, you may not like that, you might not, whatever. I don't know. I don't know. You see, what the issue is a very mean thing. The other day we went to JFK. And I'm looking around, and it's just an assault. And I'm thinking, what happened to people? Clothes are fascinating to me. When did we go to wearing pajamas and skin tight yoga pants when people who really shouldn't be wearing? I mean, put it this way: people who have enormous buttocks, calipigian, monster. God bless them if that's what they want to wear, that's fine, whatever. But when did that change? When did slides and ankle socks come in? When did this stupid? Have you seen now? It looks like, and there's a name for it. It looks almost like something. It looks like an old. I'll tell you what it looks like. Ladies, do you remember? My mother had this, a hair dryer. You put this thing on your head. It's like a rubber kind of like a shower cap, but a big one. And you'd connect a hose into it and you turn this dryer on it, and it would blow hot air. Now it looks like almost like that kind of cap, almost like a shower cap. I don't know what the word is. To me, sloppy, trashy, whatever. Now, the issue is when or what was the moment when airline travel lost its sense of decorum or when people dressed up. There was every now and then you see somebody dressed up. That's the issue. What was it? Not, do you think these things look stupid? Or that's a different issue. What's the issue? What is the issue? When did airlines become the replacement of the word postal? Going postal, this person was postal. Remember that guy? When did that happen? We don't know. It's going back to Howard Stern. This is one of the greatest things in the world because he has been so polarizing, so popular. He was so, to many people, their whole life he was known as something. And everybody who's ever known him says he is not a nice person, not a good person, very insecure. My pal Anthony Cumia was talking about this, and he and his partner at the time, whatever that guy's name was, Stern was really jealous, really insecure, and gave him a hard time, a really, really hard time, in this thing. And you could talk about that, what's going to happen. The moment he loses his clout, his money, his whatever his position is, that wife's going to dump him so fast, it'll make your head spin. Remember that. I find that interesting because I see a lot of these people married to others, not because out of love. And I never met them, and I could be completely wrong. I'm just talking to you, just gut feeling, instinct, whatever it is. Because there's just so much artificiality. And the number of people who are these arranged marriages to hide a gay husband, that's still going on, big time. Beards, still going on. Hollywood, the platform that wants you to accept everything that is gay, radical left, trans, whatever. They hide and they closet gay folks like you can't believe, because even they know, bottom line, it is not as liked as you would think. It is not as accepted as you would think, and nothing kills marketability like somebody who kills the message of the masculine action hero who's gay, and they hide it with that. Now, you can break that issue. What is that issue about? Do you want to take about it from marketability? Why does that affect marketability? Then the other issue is, which is different. Do you think that a person's sexuality has anything to do with their role in the movies? That's a different issue. That's nothing to do with the marketability part, because believe me, anything that affects the bottom line. You see, the marketing thing, this is something which is so important. Years ago, when radio stations try to come up with ways of finding out who's listening to what, there was a thing in the old days called the Arbitron book, and then they sold to Nielsen. But Arbitron, you get this diary. Maybe one of you, I've never received a diary in my whole life. Most people I know never received a diary. But you get a diary, and you fill it out. I mean, fill it out, quarter, hour, and oh my God, like what? And people would say, "Oh my God, I gotta send this out here," and they give it to a kid. What do you listen to? That's why Howard Stern did very well, because people would say, "Oh, I listen to Howard Stern," even when they didn't. Many people would say, "Oh, I listen to NPR," when they didn't. They said they listened to things when they didn't. Or they would give it to a kid, and the kid would fill out the child's reference, not the adult parent. All right. Then later on, they sold the Nielsen. And then they said, just like they did with boxes, TV boxes, you can't hide a box. You can't. On cable. Now, other things too, we don't know. But cable, whatever comes through, that feed is there. And it does all the quarter hour, this and that. And you don't have to do it. I mean, you could leave it on. You could just, if you wanted to, just leave on your set all day to CNN, but that's just one person. Then later on, they came up with these devices. These devices you would wear to monitor radio, and it picked up sometimes ambient noise, because every radio station had kind of like a hidden tone, and your device would pick up when you were listening to that station. If for whatever reason you stopped moving, it turned off. So people would put their device on a fan. I mean, they would do all these things. And there were a couple of famous radio people who got into trouble for that. And then we try to figure that one out. And how do you really know? I mean, if I'm in a cab or something and I hear a radio station, but I didn't pick it, but it's going on, does that count? Anyway, so these are modalities. These are ways of trying to pick up actual audience participation. How often do you listen? What do you listen to? And then there was a thing a while back that says black folks don't want to wear devices like jewelry like this. They won't wear this. Oh, that's racist. They actually said this. I don't know if it's true or not anymore. But they said, yeah, certain things, certain people, yeah. Latino men may do something. Others may. And they even try to apply this ecumenical, everybody's the same. It's like, no, they're not. Certain people act certain ways. That's just the way it is. The issue is, then you got to go back to what I'm saying. Who listens, what listens, why? Not what do you like. That's not the issue. If that was the issue, I'd say, what do you like? I'm saying, what do other people like? And people will not be able to say, and they'll say, I don't want to answer that question. I want to talk about, well, that's not the issue. But I want to talk about what I want to. Well, if somebody asks you, wait for somebody to ask you what you think, because that's not the subject. That's not what people are saying. Goes back to the idea of Howard Stern. What do you think it's about? Simple. Whenever something gets canceled, it's because they didn't make the money. Gayle King, they're going to shit can her. She's Oprah's girlfriend for the longest time. It is suspected. And she was only at CBS, just kind of with an idea because Oprah wielded the power, maybe not anymore. So why is she going to be removed? Should she be removed? All these different considerations. That's the issue. Not, do you like Gayle King? Do you watch Gayle King? Do you like Oprah? It doesn't matter. It's a different issue. Completely. Because what we're seeing right now is something changing drastically. Drastically. And what I'm trying to say is, the thing that will blow terrestrial, prototypical, classical heritage radio, talk radio, because I'd love to see with WABC, it is the biggest radio station, biggest numbers, period. In New York, AM, forget it, hands down. But they are so competitive with other, and also, I don't know about apps, I don't know about, but their numbers are there. Now, does everybody listen? No, but everybody doesn't have to listen. It's like voting. Let me ask you a question. If you wanted to take a nationwide poll, how many people do you need to take? Just say a nationwide poll. How many people in the sample size do you have to take? How many people? That's the issue. And it will surprise you. What if I told you 1,200 people? 1,200 people. You want to take the maximum number of people to be well, put it this way, the minimum number of people you need to get the maximum accuracy. You don't want to pay. I mean, you could do a 50,000 person sample. It's pretty good, but it costs too much money. What's the minimal amount? About 1,200 people. About 1,200. Now, of that, you want to have a right sample size. You want to have 15%, let's say, black, 75% women, and you make sure that it represents the demographics of people in your population. That's the way you do that. So what they do right now is, this Mamdani stuff. You know this Mamdani? You know what they'll do? Let's say I pick, I don't know. Let's say I pick somebody. I don't know. One of you fine folks. And you're running for something. Let's say Curtis Lewa. And I think Curtis Lewa, even though he is completely full of shit regarding this, we had a a horse, one of these horse carriages dropped dead. And they said, we got to help. The horses are worked to death. No, they're not. They just died. Happens all the time. You can ask somebody ask the Amish, the Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where they get these horses from. So anyway, so he's heard Curtis is full of shit about that feral cat. He has this thing about animals. Sometimes our animal behavior is just simplistic. It's ridiculous. We don't care about kids, but animals we do. In any event. So what if I said, all right, I'm a commission, give me a poll. What would you like? Said, well, I want Curtis to come out the 75%, vast. Okay. So I'll go out and I'll do a poll. Rather than the numbers I gave you, the 1,000, the demographics, whatever, I'm going to go after adults. I'm going to call it adults. Not likely to vote, have voted, registered to vote, adults. I will go to a UFC. Oh, look who it is. There's Raul. Haven't seen you in a long time, my friend. Good to see you. Hope you've been well. I'm going to go someplace where there are people who are just adults. And I'm going to say, give me your money. And I'm going to say 75% of the people wanted Curtis Lewa for mayor. Because that's the result you want. And I gave you that. How do you like that? That's right. I'll give you that number. It's a very inaccurate number. It's probably the worst way there is to even remotely come up with it. But I'll do this. I will give you that number. How do you feel? You like that? Good. So there's this Mamdani poll that came out that said, oh, he's doing great. No, he's not. It's just the numbers, adults. It's ridiculous. Okay, now, next issue. When I tell you that somebody is looking at somebody's 70%, 50%, somebody says overwhelming, does that help you or hurt you? It might hurt you, and that it may make people want to stay home because they say, you know what, they don't need me. Hell, if he's got that much, he doesn't need me. I'll go out if the number's going to be tight. So you got to ask yourself, what makes the most sense? That's the issue. Not, do you like Mamdani? Can you pronounce his name? Do you think he's a communist? Do you know what a communist is? That's what happens. We can't, and we'll even tell people if you go on. So what I'm trying to tell people is there are people on talk radio who are primed for the picking. But one of the things, the only thing that concerns me about talk radio is that are you able to handle the truth? Now, let me explain to you right now, while we're on the subject. The biggest story right now is something that is happening in the Middle East. You can call it either slaughter, massacre. You can call it genocide. You can call it the ethnic cleansing, apartheid, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. It's the biggest issue. And the Democrats are very strong about that for the most part. A lot of Republicans are, because they see what Israel's doing is horrible. The other day I was in an event, and it was good. A lot of Jewish folks, a lot of conservative folks, a lot of and invariably they watch all Fox News. And they knew absolutely nothing about what's going on in Palestine. So the issue is why? Why don't they know? Well, the answer is because their worldview is limited to these particular things. The issue then becomes, is this genocide? The issue then becomes after that, what definition? What is your definition of genocide? And people have this idea, give you an idea. And I think Stern may have been, I don't know who got to him, because as you know, there is the Israel lobby, not the Jewish lobby, but the Israel lobby, and that controls media, the Israel lobby, not controls, but also politicians, AIPAC, and that. This is a reality. The next issue is it anti-Semitic to say that? No, of course, it's the truth. And if you think, no, it's not anti-Semitic, but it works like a charm. Alan Dershowitz said something the other day was interesting. Alan Dershowitz said, the anti-Israel comments go to show you that people still cannot grasp the fact that Israel is run by or is the land of Jews or something along that. And I want to say, Alan, you know, and I know, that's not the problem they have. The problem is not. I mean, there might be some who still want to relitigate the Balfour Declaration, which is fine. Most people are saying whoever is slaughtering and killing these Palestinians, that's what we're talking about. We don't know who's doing it. Well, excuse me. We don't care who's doing it. The issue is what's happening, not. But they change the issue to make it sound like, oh, the reason why you're saying this is because you have these deep-seated feelings against Israel. And you're saying Israel has nothing to do with this. As a country, it's whoever is the perpetrator of this. During the, remember in 2005, during the DRC, the Congolese women who were SA'd and R'd, to use that word, using batons, sticks, stakes, bayonets, who were vaginally, genitally, and just absolutely horrible. It was terrible. It was wrong. Did anybody at that time care? Well, is this the DRC per se? Is it the rebel groups? Is it? No, we didn't care about that. It was, this has to stop. So you see, the issue is, remember, issue analysis. The issue, you would say, Professor Dershowitz, the issue is not why people may have a problem with Israel as its existence and, some kind of a Herzl Zionist. That's not it. That may be a part of it. But the real issue is, do people think that this is a genocide? Or if they do think it's a genocide, by what definition do they use? And more importantly, do they want something to be done to stop it? And how is that going to affect the results? See, what the Republicans that I'm talking to, they won't ever even admit that, because first of all, they watch Fox News and they look at me and they say, what are you talking about? I said, well, if you want to go up against Mamdani, you're going to have to address Israel. No, I don't want it. Well, they're just defending themselves. Israel has the right to defend itself. It's Hamas. And the litany of questions or perspectives and issues. Anyway, so the issue then is, are they going to come to grips with what the rest of the world thinks? And the answer is no, they don't. And the issue is, how do you expect to do anything if your sole focus is to watch Fox? And when I say Fox News, it's not Fox News, but that focus. That focus. It's the most. And the issue also is, should we come up with a new name? Absolutely. I've been saying... the issue is Sagar Enjeti Sagar from Boiling Points. Boiling Points, or whatever it is. That show along with Crystal Ball, he agrees with me 100%. Because that's become a politicized term, and it sidesteps and it hijacks the issue, so that it, instead of dealing with us or the particular issue at hand, we're parsing the definition of genocide. So we shouldn't call it genocide. Don't use it. Don't use this notion of genocide, because it is too problematic. And there's no need for it. Most people don't really understand what it is. I don't think it's critical. So the issue is, would there be a different perspective if we got rid of that word? Yes, absolutely. And right now there is a movement, and people must understand something. The issue is, how do you shock somebody when you say, okay, Howard, let's take away the schlock and the shock and whatever? You can't shock people anymore today. What do you think shocks people? What shocks people today is the truth. The truth does it. The truth does it. The truth shocks people more than anything you can imagine. The truth does. And it is so brutal. And the wilder the truth, the better it is for us. And you can call it conspiracy theories and all that. If it says conspiracy, it's even more interesting. Even more interesting. So, my friend, that's what we're going to do with that one. I want to thank you for being a part of this. I wanted to jump on right now. Schedule's a bit strange. Mrs. Ellen and I will tell you, we had a wonderful event the other night, and so much to talk about with Lynn's Warriors. Please follow Lynn's Warriors. Make sure you follow the legal side of this, the legal channel, and that is Lionel Legal. Thank you, Pilgrim Media. Appreciate that immensely. By the way, it's Lionel Legal, but also make sure you subscribe here to Lionel Nation. Now, watch what's happening right now. This is a big deal. Goose Down Story says the control goes to the youth. Sometimes, not really youth per se. Sometimes. I would suggest that there are some folks who, I don't think the youth is Tucker Carlson. I don't think you would call that youth. I think it's a far older demographic than you would think. Or others as well, other groups of people. But you bring up a good point. It's good to target, not only target, but focus on the quote youth, because they're going to be the next consumers of this. So remember, this is what you also you want to target, but you also want to train them. I talked to a young man the other night. He was talking about. I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "Oh, he's going to college." I said, "Oh, that's great, freshman year." I said, "What is your major? What would you like to major in?" He says, "International relations." I said, "Oh." And we talked about everything from Keynes, which is economics, but also things like Mearsheimer and others. And it was fascinating how this young man did not really know this. Their voice dominates and leads. Their voice dominates and leads in certain demographics, right? For certain cultures, you're right. But if you want to talk about, put it this way, if you want to talk about an advertising demo to buy Jaguars, if you're selling, or Jaguars, as folks from the UK would say, or Jaguars, as people say, if that's what you're looking at, then you probably would be better off doing something like going to an older, let's say 35 to 64-year-old group. So it depends upon if you're trying to sell something. Youth is very important for certain things, but too much, too young is still, for the most part, and I hate to use this term, too liberal, too leftist, too woke. And that in and of itself kind of ages itself out of the consideration. So it's a wonderful blanket statement. For the most part, it's accurate. But the real issue is what particular subjects or political issues do or better are played against or targeted for younger people. That's what's important. That's what's important. Just very, very important. So it's the way, remember, it's the issue. Think issue analysis. Always precisely retool your question, your perspective. Blanket statements are always often wrong. Always often, I think it's redundant, are wrong. All right, my friends, have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Goose Down. And notice you have a new name, which is fine, which is cool. No problem. Pilgrim, thank you. And Raul, thank you. And thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this. Have a great and glorious day. Until I've got many, many coming later on today. Make sure you also sign up for the newsletter. Go to, remember, Lionel.news, Lionel.news, Lionel.news. You can get all the information for the private channel and how to reach me. Lionel.news. Pretty good, huh? Pretty good, huh? Lionel.news. Isn't that great? Isn't that a great topic? And then even have a great and glorious day. We'll talk to you later. Don't ever change. I mean that sincerely. And until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you.